I was like, you know what, let me actually go to the studio and then, like see what that how that process is. And then from there, I was like I had to start, not that I had to, but it kept evolving until, now I'm going to, performing and it's just along that way. I was just learning, all the things that the ins and outs of everything, not just being the artist, but also, doing a business, like how, we set up this podcast. And you have to be disciplined also, you know what I'm saying? You have to, like, because you could ruin business relationships, ruin your brand, all kinds of things.
I'm excited for today's show. Brian, I'm going to make you feel old because I'm thinking back how many years it was from when we met at University of Tampa. Crazy. Time's flying.
Yeah, definitely. That we was we was just young, much younger. Now I think we got a little bit wiser and a little bit more serious about our crafts, or the things that we try to do, which is great. And I just do want to say I'm so grateful that we were aligned. That you're somebody that we crossed paths. Just as far as how we did grow, and now it's like we are able to collaborate and do things together. As far as our business and entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have you on the show. I was saying to him behind the scenes, it's been a long time overdue. I'd love to highlight Tampa entrepreneurs, especially former Spartans. If you're listening on and you have not been on the show, you're a fellow Spartan, please reach out to Danica podcasts by Lancy at gmail.com. She'll get you all set up and put you on the show. Yeah, just hit the mute. Oh, you're good. She'll get you all set up and put you on for an episode. But I want to welcome you back to That Entrepreneur Show, the podcast that has been delivering top performing entrepreneurs to you each week since the end of 2019. I love to host this show. I learn something new every episode, and you will too. If it's your first time with us, be sure to head to the show directory on the website, thatentrepreneurshow.com. After the show, there are hundreds of episodes to choose from, and I try to get entrepreneurs in all fields so I can help as many people as possible. Everyone inspires me on the show, and Brian will today too. Be sure to check us out at That Entrepreneur Show on all social media. I'm at Vincent A. Lancy on all social media and YouTube. Be sure to head there, subscribe to me there. I've got a lot of content coming your way, including some clips from today's show. But we're going to get right to it. Brian, you've had your hands in a lot. You've been experienced, as we talked about before the show, too, how far we've come, just trial and error. You've locked in on music. You found your craft. You found what you're passionate about. What led you to music? Was it something as a kid, or what led you to where you are today? Can't hear you.
My bad, bro. um, yeah. So I was saying, what led me to music when I was younger. Basketball was my favorite hobby, but I always did love music. I wouldn't like I used to, put on little shows for my family members when they came, when they came around me, my sister and my little cousins or whatnot. And then even in school, like we used to freestyle with each other. So, it's always been something that was a part of, who I was. And I never really, I did think, I always like dreamed to, be like a superstar. And so it's like as an adult now, it's like, things kind of change as far as like how you have those certain kind of dreams as a kid. But just being on a path and like, making some waves and like, people in the industry know who I am. Just, even doing stuff with people that I used to look up to, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that is very humbling. And it inspires me to keep growing. And now that I'm older, I find myself kind of just trying to like help out the next generation or the future, and kind of just make things a little bit easier for them, or share some wisdom with them so that they can like how how for us we had to make some mistakes to learn and get our wisdom, but it's like I just want to share some of that knowledge with them.
And I love that. That's what entrepreneurship's all about. I find it's very unique from other industries where in corporate America, for example, you're trying to one up the guy next to you or woman next to you. You're trying to just find a way to the rat race or whatever they call it. Where in entrepreneurship, everyone knows how hard it is, especially the bootstrappers like us who came in here, didn't have funding and all these things. We just built the brand from the ground up. We want to pay forward. We want to help other people. And that's one of the many goals of this show for people to be able to tune in, pick up something from each guest. It doesn't matter what you have in common or what resonates, but the fact that you're both on the mission to build your own brand. It may be from where Brian's from, it may be from how he started, but I'm going to ask you to delve a little deeper. You talked about helping out the younger generation. What's
Yeah.
one thing you wish you knew when you started your brand as a musician, as an artist? One thing you wish that you were able to jumpstart your artist brand with?
Oh, that's a great question. It's a couple different things, mainly just kind of being your own biggest fan. That's very crucial. Just you got to really believe in yourself. Even if you don't know the next steps or whatnot. Also, just to always have a open mindset to want to learn, and even people that you collaborate with, they have some something to offer you, and whatever your brand is at the time. So just some of the things that I learned.
You got to believe in yourself, and you said it perfectly there. And collaboration, that's also what entrepreneurship's all about. What we're doing right now as entrepreneurs, many of us, especially solopreneurs, you're by yourself most of the day. I love, and I don't take it for granted, having these podcast interviews where I get to have that human interaction, bring more life into my day, like Brian's doing for all of us. We talked about getting started in music, Brian, but I want to talk about working on your own, working for yourself. Did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur and build something on your own, or what did it look like? Was it basketball, or what was up?
No, I definitely, I definitely didn't think I wanted to do that. For me, I more so just kind of wanted to, like I was saying, just be like, like some kind of superstar or, somebody, like that. But it just happened. It kind of just started happening naturally. Like, one day, from freestyling, like when I was in college, I was like, you know what, let me actually go to the studio and then like see what that how that process is, and then from there it's like I had to start, not that I had to, but it kept evolving until now
Right.
I'm going to performing, and it's just along that way I was just learning all the things that the ins and outs of everything, not just being the artist but also doing a business, like how we set up this podcast. And you have to be disciplined also. You know what I'm saying? You have to, like, because you could ruin business relationships, ruin your brand, all kinds of things, and even miss opportunities to grow. So that's kind of really what happened.
And that's the thing too, being disciplined in many areas of entrepreneurship, even commitments, for example, something I find in entrepreneurship people don't really hold themselves to anymore. So when people like Brian, they hold their commitment. We've had this podcast booked for 2 weeks or so. That says a lot. And people, as you do business with, as you continue to grow with, you need to be able to count on them. If you're going to be taking time, our most valuable asset to make something happen, and they don't value that time, it really happens. It used to happen a lot more in the early bit of the podcast. I'd have schedules booked with strangers, of course, LinkedIn, messaging,
Mhm.
whatever, and they just wouldn't even show up. No call, no show, no email. And that always bugged me. I said, I'm going to learn from that and always make sure that the people on the other end respect my time because I respect their time. I'm really grateful that Brian came on because he's doing a lot of great work here in the Tampa community, especially really striving to be something as an artist. Who was your favorite artist growing up?
um, I don't. That's a good question. Like, when like in elementary school, middle school, I don't know. It's like I have
Let's hear
different,
it. Like
uh,
inspirational artists for you as now a recording artist who inspired you most.
when I was growing up. All right, I'll say it was a lot of it was different people. Like, cause I really like the vibes, kind of like Nelly at the time. Cause he was somebody who, I'm not gonna say he was my favorite artist, but at that time, he was one of those, like, switching it up from just rapping. Like, he had that kind of melodic, way about him. So, like, and then Drake kind of like went crazy with that, what I'm saying, with the switching from the rapping and the singing. But it was like artists like that. But I, definitely like 50 Cent a lot growing up.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Lil Wayne. It's just certain artists that Kanye definitely. it was one of my biggest inspiration. It's a couple of different artists.
I love it. 50 Cent had
Mhm.
Get Rich or Die Trying in middle school days.
Crazy.
Growing up in New York, that
That
was
shit was crazy.
I still listen to it, to be honest with you. Some of those songs. There was a hit from start to finish, but that could be a whole nother podcast. We're learning a lot about Brian. We're learning a lot about his inspiration from music. I love the advice he gave everyone out there for just getting started, and that can even relate to just entrepreneurship, not just music. You have to believe in yourself and what you're doing, because if you don't, no one else is going to believe in you for you.
Mhm.
People, big shout out to Jerry, one of my book coaching clients. He gave me the advice to remember that people are a great authenticity sniffer. They can tell you when you're BSing, you're not really passionate, not into what you're doing.
Right.
Even the books I'm reading, every podcast interview, I have to show up and give a good experience, because this is the listeners that tune in for 4+
Mhm.
years. It's the guests who have taken time out of their day to give value to our audience. So I want to really thank you again for taking some time to do that. I want to now shift a little bit to something else, thinking outside the box in entrepreneurship. If it wasn't music right now, what would it be?
Um, hmm. You know what? That's a good question too. I guess, it'll be the two things I would say is clothing. I do have some my own merch, but I would get into fashion, or I think I would get into developing games.
Let's talk about, if you're saying you have some fashion to level, let's develop, excuse me. Let's shed some light on that. What do you got going on?
Okay, so yeah, my brand Inspired on Fire actually started it started I want to say maybe like 2020 like 2020 or 2021, but I came up with the concept from my gamer tag for Xbox because my not to I'm really humble, but my like I had that since we were like in high school or
Right,
freshman
right.
high school. So over the years, like I was playing all types of games. It's like I so many people played against me, whether it's a celebrity or just our friends. You know what I'm saying? Like just
Right.
people from the neighborhood all over. And it's like people will always say that, my game attack and like Inspiring on Fire is just something that's kind of like, you could remember that, you know what I'm saying? It's like it had its uniqueness to it. And so literally uh the year I think it was the year that the Lakers were in a bubble. So they was in Orlando. We played against them like LeBron James, J.R. Smith, Anthony Davis. I'm trying to think. It's like two other players. I can't think of their name right now, but we played against them, and so I was just like, that's my sign to like, really start, pushing out the merch because people know it, like people know it, like so.
How playing with LeBron gave you that green light to
Yeah,
uh to
okay.
just the passion. I mean, when you're around motivation and you're around people who are passionate, it's going to breed for you. I mean, at
Hmm.
this point in my life, a lot of the people who I do talk to regularly, they're entrepreneurs. Not all of them, but most of them, they're in different fields. But
Yeah.
we share that hustle, we share that grind, and it's not easy out there. He's out
Hmm.
here. Before I let him go, though, I want to ask, where can we find some of your music online? And if we have not tuned into you yet, what is one song we should listen to get started?
Oh, so yeah, my music is on all streaming platforms at the moment right now. And just because you're my boy, I'm gonna be 100% honest. So I'm getting ready to roll out some new music. So I was doing little gimmicks, and so my music is technically it's on there, but it's like you can't really listen to it. But just because of this, I'm gonna like make sure it's available. But it's on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. I got music on SoundCloud. You could literally Shazam my music like if it's playing.
All right, that's a good accomplishment, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations on that.
yeah. And then the other so it depends because a lot of my music is different vibes. I have songs that are like inspiring or kind of motivational, which I think like that's kind of the direction I'm going in right now.
I like that.
Like with the new music that I'm gonna release, like I want it to feel good and have good vibrations for people. And then what was I saying? Oh, and so like I have some songs that's kind of like just melodic, and I just say like some of my more popular songs would be like Boss Baby, Fifth App Days is the most recent song that I put out.
Oh,
I'm trying to think. Huh?
well, they're gonna go have to tune in, man. They're gonna
Yeah,
get
that's
started.
right.
Have to add you to their playlist. He's on
Yes.
Spotify. He's on Apple. He's on all the platforms. Be sure to take a listen to what he's all about. He is up and coming, especially here in the Tampa community, working hard. Be sure to check out the show at That Entrepreneur Show on all social media. I'm at Vincent A. Lancy. And Brian, I look forward to seeing all of your music dreams continue to unfold. And I look forward to bringing you back on the show in a year or so to talk about the latest and greatest in your world, all the new music, all the new pinnacles you hit. So thanks again for taking the time, bro. It's great to see you.
Yes, of course, bro. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm grateful for you. What you're doing is very inspiring, and just keep going, bro. You keep us motivated too. You know.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right. I'll talk to you later.